In this video, we're going to have a look at some of the options that we have for drawing products with appliances as inserts inside of them. So these are subassemblies for appliances specifically that would be included in or on or around some cabinets. And so these would be things like insert ovens, microwaves, that sort of thing. And so if we go to our base starter vertical, we'll start by drawing a under counter microwave cabinet. And so we'll say place this on a wall, and we'll just place that product there. And we'll go ahead and say this is a 30-inch wide cabinet. We'll say it has 2 bays. And for our vertical bays, I happen to know that the microwave we're going to use needs 14.625 for the opening height because it's an under counter drawer microwave, and then we'll just equal the other one. And so for bay 1 in the interior component selection, we have an option for in the bay 1 options, we have a selection for microwave, and so we'll go ahead and say that one is a microwave, and in our bottom one, you can say that there's a single drawer or something underneath it. When we go to our subassemblies, we have options inside of our drawer subassembly and also in our microwave subassembly. So we're going to go to our subassembly prompts for the microwave, and you can see that there are options here for generic microwave or any variety of different types that we could insert there. So when we place that, we're going to use this case, we're going to use the under counter drawer design, and so we can see that the actual width here is this dimension, and so our overall width is larger than that. And so if we go to the panel tab, we can see that we are including a panel as part of this, and we can see the details for that appliance there as well. And so for our appliance here, we're going to save that and say save it in this subassembly only. And here we can see there is some warning messages that come up, and we just want to make sure that when we do that, they're not going to interfere with the drawer fronts and that sort of thing. So we could adjust our reveals on our drawer as well to make sure that we don't interfere with anything on there. But when it goes ahead and draws this product, we can have a look at how the appliance interacts with the drawer below, and then we can make adjustments as needed. So here you can see that it's drawn the 3D view of that appliance. It's also drawn the appliance panels as fillers because this was a cabinet wider than was actually necessary. It's put in some fillers on there for an appliance panel. If we made the opening too high, it would make an overall panel insert for that as well. And then you can see that it's also created the 2D drawings for that appliance panel. So we can do that for a base cabinet. We can also do that for a tall appliance. So to make a tall appliance cabinet, we'll go with a tall starter vertical. In this case, we'll just fill it up with appliances. So we'll just say place it next to another product. And on the right side, we can specify how many bays and what the details are. So we'll say this is a 95-inch high cabinet. We'll give it a bay quantity here of 4, and we'll just fill all those up with appliances. And so we'll say that on our bay calculator, we'll say this is 20 for a microwave, and we'll make a small oven for 30 there, and then we'll put another microwave in there, and we'll just let that bottom one calculate to what it is. And then on our bay options here, we can see there's options for microwaves and options for ovens as well. And so we'll just go ahead and select a number of different options in there. And then for each of those openings, we have the option to go into the subassembly prompts, and we can specify what type of appliance goes in each of those. And so on our first opening, we'll go to our subassembly prompts, and for the selection here, we'll say it's a microwave 22, 15, 18. We can specify what color it is, where the details are. If we wanted to include panels, there's options for that. We'll just say this, save this in this subassembly only. So for our oven, we'll just leave that the way it is, and we'll go down to this microwave, and we'll say subassembly prompts on that one. And for this one, we'll select a particular microwave, so let's go with a Viking convection oven. And and we'll go ahead and put a trim kit on this. And so when it uses the trim kit, it will put in an extra panel if that's needed in order to support the appliance and allow for the trim kit to function properly. So we'll just go ahead and say save that, and we'll draw that out and see what that looks like. And so looking at our appliance here, you can see that we have our microwave, and so this was our just freestanding microwave, so it's just a microwave sitting in the opening there. Then we have our oven, and so this oven we left as a generic oven, so we could have adjusted the different sizes, double oven, single oven, those sorts of prompts in there. And this one included a panel, and so for the oven panel we can see there that it's included that inset oven panel, and it's done a cutout for that oven as well, and so that applies for the generic one as well as for any of the others. And then here we have our Viking convection oven, and so it has an oven panel as well, but it's the appropriate width for this cabinet, so it's just supplying those two rails, top and bottom, instead of a full panel. And what's happened here is that because this trim kit hangs down well below the appliance, and that would interfere with the section below, it's gone ahead and added an additional fixed shelf to support that microwave, and so that's an option inside of the microwave subassembly as well, whether or not to include those oven panel pieces, as well as whether or not to include that additional shelf. But by default, if they're required, they are going to turn on. And then here we have our generic microwave that's just kind of filling out the space that we have available there. So the other thing that we can do with these appliance subassemblies is just insert them into standard cabinets. And so if I go to my product prompts on this two-door upper, I can go to my subassemblies and go to the subassembly appliance folder and go to the microwave and just double click to insert that. If I go to my subassembly prompts for that microwave, I have the options for what type of microwave to select and use in there. So I'm going to use this KitchenAid below cabinet microwave. So we can see that the actual width here is 29 7/8, and I know that my cabinet is actually 30. So this width and height, this is the size of the opening in which this appliance is going to be mounted, and so I'm just going to say that's a 30-inch wide opening, and the height of my opening, in this case it's a top mounted, so it's going to place it at the top of whatever that opening is. So because I'm just picking a point to place that, I'm just going to leave my height at 0, and then I can see my actuals there. So I'll just say save this subassembly only. My depth, this appliance is deeper than my cabinet, and that's fine. And so then to place the appliance, I'm just going to say pick point, and I'm just going to pick the back corner point of my appliance there and say OK. So now if I have a look, I've got my appliance sitting underneath my cabinet,